Question number 6 is love triangles, yes or no? Yeah. Yes. Hi Tandem fandom, my name is Char. Welcome to the Tandem Collective, where you can find the latest book recommendations, releases and news from Team Tandem. So, you might not know my face, and that's completely fine, but I am Char. I was previously the romance correspondent for the YouTube channel, and I will now be taking over all the videos on the YouTube channel, so you'll be seeing a lot more of me. Because I'm taking over from Alexis, I thought I would do like a little get to know me book tag. So that's what we're going to do today. So I've seen a couple of booktubers do this, so I'm going to do the 20 questions book tag, and it's originally from a blog called ZZ with Books, and it's just general sort of bookish questions that you might want to know about someone to get to know them a bit more. So let's get into it. Okay, so question number 1 is, how many books in a series is too many? I feel it's a very difficult question for me to answer. And that's mainly because my immediate knee-jerk is to say 3. But then I think I do like a longer series. Like, I like the Seven Sisters series. If ever you haven't read that, you should read that. I like those series, and that's like, I think that's like 8 or 9 books now, and I think it's very contextual. So, but the problem I have is that I rarely read series as back-to-back. So, for that reason, I'm gonna say 3, because I think I could read 3 on the trot, but could I read 5? If I'm likely, because over 3, I'm probably going to read another book in between it, and then I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to forget the characters, I'm going to forget the place names, I'm going to forget what's going on, and so it's probably going to be a fail for me. 3 books in a series is as many as I would like to read. Question number 2 is cliffhangers or no? And again, I feel this has a contextual answer, and that is that if it is a cliffhanger and there is a sequel, that's going to bring you back to the cliffhanger, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what's happening. I don't mind how long I have to wait for the cliffhanger, within reason. Cliffhangers, yes or no? Yes. Yes. Cliffhangers, yes. But do I like being in a perpetual cliffhanger? I don't know. I'm going to go with yes. Okay, question number 3 is hardback or paperback? Now, I have a mixture of both. I don't mind buying hardbacks, but I do find them cumbersome. So my knee-jerk is to go with paperback. I am a paperback girly. It fits in my Uniqlo. They're not heavy. I am also a spine breaker. Sorry. So yeah, I think paperback definitely, but I do love the aesthetic of a hardback, but I will always buy paperback. Sorry. Question number 4 is, what is my favourite book? My favourite book, certainly of recent years, is A Gentleman in Moscow by Immortals. And it's one of those books that I recommend to absolutely everybody. It is an absolutely brilliant book. It has these really playful little footnotes that the author is like writing to you in character, obviously, but as the reader. It was recently adapted with Ewan McGregor in, which is also brilliant. But yes, it's very, very good. It's about a Russian aristocrat who writes a piece of anti-communist poetry. And because he was aristocratic, he did have money, they were like, well, we can't exile you to, out of the city. We're going to exile you to live in this hotel. They stripped him of all his belongings, and he was forced to live in this hotel in Moscow. And it's just about his life there. It's one of those books where like nothing happens, but a lot happens. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really beautiful book, and I would absolutely recommend it to everybody. You don't need to be a historical fiction fan. I think it is one of those books that anyone can enjoy, in my opinion. Question number 5 is my least favourite book. And honestly, I'm struggling to think of a book that I've read recently that I haven't really enjoyed. I have a terrible memory when it comes to like this. I'm very much like, I finish this book, put it down, and pick up whatever's closest to me. So I actually don't have an answer for this. I don't know what my least favourite book is. What's yours? Question number 6 is love triangles, yes or no? Yeah. Yes. Question number 7 is a book that I couldn't finish, and that is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. It wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it. I just think I picked it up at the wrong time. So I picked it up like in that week before New Year's, like between Christmas and New Year's, when nothing's really happening. You don't know what day it is. You don't even like know your own name anymore because you're just so like full of chocolate and you haven't left the house. And I was reading it and something happened, and if you know, you know. I got to like one of the first big deaths, about 200 pages in, and I just was like, not invested, and I was like, I'm not in the right headspace, and I should have cared. It was definitely like a character that you should have been sad about that had died, and I just didn't care, and I thought, I'm not in the right headspace for this, but I will pick it up. It's still on the shelf. The next question is, what is my current read? I'm reading Service by Sarah Martin. That's one of my first current reads. I am reading that with my partner, and I'm about 50 pages in, but I'm really enjoying the writing style so far. I'm also listening to A Touch of Ruin by Scarlett St. Clair, which is a reread for me, but I'm wanting to reread it because obviously A Touch of Chaos it came out late last year, but again, I had forgotten all the characters out of my head, what had happened, what's going on, and the Hades point of view came out in between me finishing the book, so I'm going back and listening to all of them, like Persephone Pov, Hades Pov. I love Hades and Persephone. So I'm doing that at the minute. So I'm listening to that. And then I'm also reading, I have a book club with Lex and Ellie. We're also on Team Tandem. And we are reading all of Jodi Picoult's backlist. So we are currently just about to start Harvesting the Heart. Okay, question number 9 is the last book I recommended to someone. And it is a book that actually the person I recommended it to has actually picked up, which is the best feeling. And it is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. And I recommended it to my sister. I love romantic comedy. I read it last year when it came out. And I thought it was just brilliant. I loved the sort of style of writing and the fact that it wasn't like a really young couple, that it was a romance about like an older couple, like they were in their 40s, which I feel like sort of late 30s to 50s is an age range that you just don't read a lot of romance about. And so I really enjoyed that. And actually I read that and then went and bought like Curtis's backlist of all her other books, so I'm really excited to get into all of those. But yes, it was romantic comedy and my sister is currently reading it. Okay, we are halfway through, so thank you for sticking with me if you're still here. And this question is the oldest book that I've read. I don't read a lot of classics or a lot of older books. I think the oldest book I've probably read is Wuthering Heights, maybe? Read anything older than that? Unsure. I think it's Wuthering Heights, but I do like to... Wuthering Heights is very much like a cozy, wintry read for me. I like to read it around Christmas time. Like when it's getting cold and it's rainy outside and it's like dark at 3 p.m. I like to sit and like just like cozy up with Wuthering Heights. I will hear no Wuthering Heights slander, unfortunately. Question number 11 is the newest book that I've read. And if I'm being honest, I'm in a complete reading slump this year, but I'm really trying to turn it around. But I think the newest book that I've read was Girl Missing by Drita St. Mitchell and Ryan Carter, and that came out in June, and I read it for publication. We did a read-along of it. If you like twisty thrillers, like, and I mean like not just like one twist, not just like 2 twists, like multiple twist after twist after twist, you're going to love Girl Missing. It's really, really great. And it just, yeah, it really does keep you hooked right until the end. So that's probably the newest book I've read. We're on to number 12, and this question is about my favourite author. Now, I mentioned earlier I'm doing a backlist read-along of Jodi Picoult's books, and I do like Jodi Picoult. I would say she's an author for me. Probably would say Katie Robert, like gun to my head, Katie Robert. But yeah, I have a couple of other like authors, like Amor Towles, like Jodi Picoult, like Lucinda Riley, but Katie Roberts probably my favourite. 13, unlucky for some, is buying or borrowing books. Now, personally, I believe that reading books and buying books are 2 separate hobbies, but I am very much in an era of my life now where I am borrowing or like swapping with friends. So yeah, I'm gonna say borrowing. Question 14 is a book that everyone liked and I didn't. Now again, I can't remember a time that I read a book and I didn't like it. I think I've gotten very good at like picking books myself that I'm like, yes, I'm gonna really enjoy this as a reader for XYZ reasons. And also I'm just very susceptible to everyone else being like, this is really great, you should read it, and then I think, oh my god, this is really great as well. So I actually don't have an answer for this one either. Okay, so 15 is bookmark or dog ear. I'm not so much a dog earer, but I have bookmarks, but I tend to just like use whatever I have to hand. So like a receipt, a pen, a hair bubble, another book. I'm really terrible at like putting things down and losing them, so I often like misplace my bookmarks, so I never actually use one. But I don't dog ear, but I do spine break, which is the second time I've told you that, and I worry that the first time you might have left, because that is criminal to some readers, and I can only apologise. Number 16 is the book I've reread the most. So I don't tend to reread books unless it's for a specific reason. So I'm currently rereading the Twilight series and annotating them for my friend's birthday. So that is a very purposeful reread. And I do, as I've said earlier in the video, I tend to like to reread Wuthering Heights if I'm going to around Christmas time. So probably that's the book I've read the most or reread the most. Like every time I sort of think about like rereading a book, I think there are hundreds of books being published this month alone that I'll never read. I'll never have the time. Even if I was a more consistent reader, I would not have the time to read all of the books that I want to read. And so do I need to reread this book? Probably not. Unless I'm just really in the mood for it, and then I will. But otherwise, I try not to reread. 17 is music while reading or no? Yes. Absolutely yes. I am music while doing anything. Driving, cooking, sleeping if I could, but my partner would kill me. I would listen to music all day, every day if possible. I really like listening to music with my earbuds in, like on the train and reading. I find that it just like distracts like one half of my brain, so my other side of my brain can like focus on reading. I love music while reading. So yes, that is an absolute yes for me. This is Basil, everybody. Basil, say hi. Say hi. So pretty. Question number 18 is one or multiple points of view. I like both. I don't think I could pick one. I think definitely multiple while listening. I love that. I love like the whole fan cast, full cast feel when you listen to an audiobook. But yeah, I don't really mind both. I don't like pick one and won't read the other. So I would say both. Question number 19 is one sitting on multiple days. And again, with this one, I don't have like a strict answer. I think that there are days and there are certain books that lend themselves to being sat in and to read in one sitting. And sometimes I have the time to just sit in one sitting and like absolutely demolish a book. But yeah, it tends to be multiple days these days for me. And the final book is a book that I read because of the cover. And I'm trying to like think of a book that I've bought because of the cover.
20 minutes later.
Actually, okay, a book that I read because of the cover was one that I'd seen on TikTok, and I read it as part of my Kindle Unlimited membership. And that was A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Renee. I really loved the whole series. They're all under 300 pages. Yeah, really good sort of spicy romantasy. So if you're into that, but the cover is like, it's like a dagger and a snake, and it's all pinks and greens and browns and moody, and blues, sorry. And it's really moody and really like atmospheric. And I looked at it and thought, I'm going to enjoy that. And I did. So if you like that sort of thing, go and read it. And that's it. That is it. I have done the 20 questions BookTUbe book tag. I hope you know me a bit more. I hope that you want to ask me more questions. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Tandem Collective channel. You'll be seeing more bookish content from me and from the genre correspondents from Lex and Jenny, plus lots of more team content because we know that you guys love that. You can get all of the latest creator opportunities straight to your inbox by signing up to our newsletter in the description below. And you can also find us on Instagram, TikTok and Pinterest. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.